Good morning, Woman Methodist family.
Good morning. It is great to be with you this morning. How are
On
you
this
doing,
cold
Lee?
morning.
On this very
It's
cold
still
morning.
cold.
It's this weekend weather is like seriously stay at home weather. So it's on
Absolutely. Under the duvet, maybe
it's on
even on
days
the
like
couch,
this where I'm glad we can have church at home.
right? That is so good. Although I think I'll have to head to church a little later to be a part of the service. So we'll see. I'll have to traverse the cold highways and byways, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all worth it.
So we're so glad to see everyone online this morning. It's so great to have you with us this morning. We obviously, we've been talking about family matters. That's our series we've had for the last couple of weeks. And we're going through the book of Genesis. We've looked at the story of Abraham and Sarah, and then they had Isaac. And then last week, Isaac got married to Rebecca. And now this week, we look at Isaac's family. And he has twins. I think one of the things about the series is about how God uses imperfect families to do his work, which is just so it's so great to hear that, because it's like, okay, cool, you can still use us, Lord. But yeah, so this family is no different.
Feel okay, right?
There's some dysfunction in this family. There's some rivalry between the siblings, and that's some of the stuff that we're looking at today. So yeah, Leanne, we're going to chat a little bit about siblings. We've got some siblings, in fact, some twins coming to join us later. But tell me a little bit. Have you got some siblings? Has there been sibling rivalry in your family?
Oh. So Tracy, I have a number of siblings, actually. Most people know that I have two sisters, but actually I have four.
Okay.
So when you talk about a messy family, oh my word, messy family, in terms of the fact that actually I'm an only child from my parents' marriage. Okay. So before they got married, they were both previously married and had children. Each had two girls, then got married and had me. So I'm like the common denominator, right?
Okay.
And I grew up with my mom's daughters. So, but I am still in touch with my other sisters. But they're both in Cape Town, and so just by nature of it, I grew up. I mean, I obviously know my two sisters here best, and plenty of sibling rivalry. And in fact, being the Laatlammetjie, there's a 7-year gap. There was a lot. I think there was a lot more sibling rivalry between Kathleen and Zena than there was between us. Yeah. So yeah, but Trace, what about you?
So yeah, I am the oldest of three, and so it's myself and then my sister and then my brother, and we all sort of 2.5 years apart. So we were all pretty close. And I think there was definitely sibling rivalry, and I always remember, like, we always had to share chocolates. For some reason, this is like just stuck in my brain. I don't know. Obviously, we were too poor to each have our own chocolate. I don't know. We'd have it. There's this memory of it being a bar of chocolate. And then you'd have to share it in three. And I mean, it's difficult to share something in three. But the one who cut wasn't allowed to choose, just in case. And I mean, I remember, like, you had to measure to make sure that they were exactly even. Otherwise, it would be super unfair if this one got an extra crumb. Didn't get. And it's just really, really, really interesting. So yeah, I remember some of that stuff. I think my sister and I probably, I guess academically were quite competitive. So we always used to kind of see who could do, who got the better report card. I mean, my brother,
you got the best mark.
My brother was the sportsman, so he wasn't really in the academic race, and I was definitely not the sportswoman. So my brother and I didn't have that much rivalry, but definitely my sister and I did. So yeah, and I mean now we all get on like a house on fire, and they're absolutely amazing. But yeah, I guess it's all part of growing up. and I guess it's also how you deal with that stuff.
Yes.
That matters
Yes.
in terms of what your relationships look like later on in life.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, the sibling rivalry, it's certainly, certainly in our house, it played a role, but I think as soon as, my sisters were much older, so they moved out, and they got married. And so I was still at home for obviously a number of years. So it kind of, it's like proximity dispels it, right?
Yeah.
Like as soon as you move, you grow up, you mature a little bit, you start realizing, actually, I do love these people.
Actually, crumbs of chocolate are not that important, and actually, you can have the whole bar,
Yes. Yeah. You want it, you eat it. So
we'd love to hear from you guys out there. Like, tell us some of your stories about sibling rivalry. Do you have siblings? What was it like growing up? We'd love to hear a little bit from you.
It would be great.
So I think we're going to ask the Sheesby boys to join us now. We're going to chat to them about life as twins. So let's cross over to them. Good morning. Welcome, Sheesby brothers. It's awesome to have you guys with us. We are obviously talking about twins this morning. And so what better, obviously, the Sheesby twins. So, hey guys, won't you introduce yourselves, tell everyone who you are?
Hi guys, I'm Carl Sheesby and this is Stuart Sheesby. Yep, I'm pretty sure you've all seen us, and we're both the sons of Chris. I'm sure you all know who Chris is. Chris Sheesby, a pastor at Royal Methodist. So, yeah.
Hey guys, we're all pastor's kids on this screen over here. That's a whole nother discussion, but like the expectations and stuff that come with that. But today we're talking about like some of the expectations that come with being twins. And so you guys are not identical twins, although it did take me quite a while to figure out who was who, especially when I first got to know you. So tell me a little bit about what it's like being twins, some of the good things, some of the bad things.
Sure. So for me, with having a twin, it's almost like, I always say it to people, it's having your best friend around 24/7, which in some cases it's super cool because you always have a friend there. But I'm pretty sure for most people, if just the thought of having a best friend around all the time might not be such a good thing.
Yeah, I actually agree. Kind of like from a young age, you, instead of having to try and find friends, you've already been given one. And that's a really positive thing because you always have someone that you trust. It's like a best friend that's always will go through things with you. Like you go through school together, play like similar sports. So you always have someone with you. I think that's the positive thing about having a twin. Some of the negatives is like, just like any other sibling, we do fight sometimes. Sometimes we do fight. When it comes to sharing, it's actually, we learn it from such a young age that we're used to it. We used to sharing pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I mean, I think your parents have been quite, having spoken to your dad this week about interviewing you guys, your parents have been quite specific about like making sure that you're not just twins, that you kind of, have your I think they'd be very aware of the fact that you are twins and how raising you is quite different. So I mean, like, did you ever do you find that people like get you confused all the time? Is that something that I mean, my sister and I had that all the time, and we aren't even twins, so I'm sure with you guys it's even worse.
It is, in a sense that people usually get the names mixed up. So most people are really good with faith. They'll know that we are twins, but they'll see we're different. But then I've been called Carl so many times, or Carl's been called Stuart. And I've actually even been with some friends, they'll think that I'm a twin with one of my friends instead of Carl. So it's like, it's so complicated. Even my friends, and that it's just, so I mean, other than just normal being a twin, it's like it just comes with the territory of being, called your brother. you get so used to it that you don't even, like, it's not offensive in a way. It's just, it's normal. Everybody gets names mixed up.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes people just call us Sheesby, and whoever responds.
That is actually a good point.
Yeah.
I think I was doing that at one stage. Yeah, it's much easier that way. So if you want to call the Sheesbees, just go, hey, Sheesbees, and one of you guys will respond.
If you know who's the oldest, just say Sheesby 1 or Sheesby.
Who is the oldest? Who is the youngest?
Okay, I'm the oldest, but I'm the shortest. He's the youngest.
I'm the tallest.
Okay. And,
just to confuse.
What is the time difference between you?
It is quite a long time, half an hour.
Half an hour. Oh, okay.
Pretty long for twins.
Now, Stuart, does Carl sometimes use that against you? Is he like, oh, I'm the older one, so...
Well, I think in the way, because I'm taller, he definitely uses it against me in the way. It's like, he uses it as a way to equal it out.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that I'm taller, but he's older in a sense. So, yeah, because most people actually think that I'm the older one just because I'm taller. So in a way, it kind of like, it makes it equal.
I think I always, when I meet new people, I make them try and guess who's the oldest, just to get it out of the way. Because I'm known as because I'm the shortest.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he says that the oldest who always cares about them knowing that I'm the oldest. So they always guess him straight away. So
that's funny. So yeah, do you think that there are some like expectations placed on you at being twins? Have you what are some of those?
I don't know if this is just for identical twins, but a lot of the time people think we have the same thoughts, or we can talk to each other like
telepathically,
or if someone's in pain, we feel their pain. I
think that most people expect us to be similar, like to be interested in the same thing, to like the same things, and to behave in the same kind of way.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we are like different. We literally are like polar opposites.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So most people would think that we would be similar, but we literally are just two very different people.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people mix us up with is, sure, we play like the same sports, we go to the same schools and stuff like that, but we've got totally different personalities. I think that's what a lot of people don't recognize about twins is, sure, they can be twins, which is pretty unique, but they have more unique personalities to each other.
So you like doubly unique, basically. Unique because you're twins, and unique and that you're different. It was interesting what you were saying earlier about how like people think that you can communicate telepathically and stuff. Do you think that you guys do have like a special connection that like other siblings don't have?
Yeah, I think we definitely do, in the sense of like in our hearts, we both, like very bonded to each other. Like we really have such a love for each other, just as being twins and like growing up together. It's like, how can you not love someone so much that you've literally grown up with all your life and always had around?
Yeah.
So it's like there definitely is a special connection that, most siblings wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Between like, younger siblings or older siblings.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of other people envy the kind of connection that Stuart and I have, simply because we've always got each other's backs.
Yeah.
Whenever someone is, like, I'm just using this as a term, is bullying Stuart, I'm going to stand up for him because he's my twin, and we care for each other in that way.
Yeah.
And sure, we fight, but we've got a really strong bond because we go through life together.
Yeah.
We take on challenges together.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
That's cool. So now, I mean, in our story today, Jacob and Esau didn't always. There was kind of a bit of rivalry and jealousy and all that kind of stuff. Have you guys experienced some of that? I mean, I in my family, like there's been some of that, so I'm sure there's been some of that. But like, yeah, as twins, is it different? How does it? How have you? And because you, like you say, often in the same in the same grade at school and all that kind of stuff, you doing life together. how have you dealt with the stuff with kind of jealousy and sibling rivalry and that sort of thing?
Personally, I don't think it's much different to any other siblings. Yeah, it's not really as different.
I think the biggest thing is when people start comparing us.
Okay.
Like they want to see who's the better twin when it comes to academics or stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get people that do that. Oh, he's the academic one, or
Okay.
he's the sporty one.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever really been jealous of Stuart because we've been so diverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've kind of just good at sports, good at academics, that we tie into each other. But I've found that when it comes to like academics or something like that, it's just doing better than me. I want to be up where he is, you know, so we can kind of be equal.
Okay. So he's actually kind of challenging you to be better.
We're challenging each other to be better. So it's not in a negative way, like I'm so jealous of, you know, what he's achieved. It's like we push each other in a positive way.
Yeah. That's awesome. Last question. What does it mean for you? And you've spoken a little bit about this, about sort of being unique and stuff, but what does it mean for you to have your own identity?
Yeah, so I think with identity and stuff, most like kids at school and just people we meet think that, you know, we would be similar just because we're twins, and like they would kind of assume that we would have the same kind of identity, which is absolutely the opposite. Kyle and I both are so unique from each other. Like we both have our own different types of love languages, our own way of like expressing ourselves and creativity.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, we've always had our own identities. So yeah, I couldn't have said it better. It's like we're two very different people.
Yeah.
And we are very unique from each other. And just that we're twins, like I think, twins make up 30% of the world population. You feel so unique.
Yeah.
So never have we've been put in a bracket where like you're twins.
Okay.
So
Awesome. Quick question. What are your love languages? Stuart, you said they're different.
Mine's physical touch.
Mine's words of affirmation. And quality time. Words of affirmation. And
it has been wonderful.
Same for me on quality.
It has been wonderful spending quality time with you guys this morning. Kyle, you are just amazing. It is just wonderful. Stuart, I wish I could give you a hug or a high five right now. But it's been awesome having you guys with us this morning. And it's been great getting to know you a little bit better. And guys, so these are the She's Bees, Stuart and Kyle. So if you see them around when we get back together again, give them a high five and tell them how amazing they are. Thank you guys for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks, Kyle and Stuart. It was great to hear from twins who just really good youngsters, man. We just love them. And so thank you for sharing some of your stories with us. It was really good to hear. And I think a really good lead in to all that's coming our way in terms of a service today.
Yeah.
And Trace, I think, you know, when it comes to siblings, you know, I feel like, you know, there's a reason, like, the connection is actually so important.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I think about the times where, you know, when the chips are down, you know, you can't necessarily call on friends, but you can, you know, you can call on family, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why Hilton and I moved back to Port Elizabeth, because I said to him, I'm not raising my little family without, you know, my sisters, without my mom. Because actually that's
Hilton's parents, or you had
so
to
important. Yes.
Yeah,
we've now moved here.
It's family is just super important. You know, that blood is thicker than water is really, really true. And at the end of the day, those are your people, you know, and you need to, I guess, make sure that those relationships are good. And you look after those relationships.
And I think, Trace, part of this is also, you know, I don't think we go through life without being hurt by family, you know?
Absolutely.
I don't think we get through without, you know, without some wounds and some scars.
Yeah.
And in fact, this December, like the Lord did a lot of work in my heart. and I actually reconciled with one of my sisters in Cape Town, and it was just such a joyous occasion. It was. Yeah. I mean, we both were crying and and we both love Jesus so much, and yet sometimes we let stupid things get in the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the story of Jacob and Esau is exactly that. They let some stupid stuff get in the way, and I guess the parents' favoritism didn't help, but
yeah.
That's the thing, it's like broken people are living together, and there is going to be hurt. But the beautiful thing is that they did eventually reconcile. But like you say, I think it's so important to recognize those things and to work through those things, because the families we live in create within us behaviors that can sometimes be destructive. And you can see stuff passing on from generation to generation, because that's what and that's what you see, and you do the same. And if you're not
that's your normal.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And if you're not really kind of seeking God and asking him to show you what's not right, that stuff is going to carry on. So Lee, here's a question for all our listeners.
Yes.
Is this, growing up in our families and getting hurt, what is some of the stuff that you've had to deal with, where you've gone, hold on, that's not good behavior and I have to change that, that sort of behavior?
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay.
You kick us off.
I think for me, one of the things, I mean, my mom and dad had a super good relationship. Well, that's certainly what it appeared from the outside, and I mean, I think if you asked them, they would say that was the case. But what that meant was there wasn't a ton of conflict, particularly between them, which I've always seen as a really good thing. But I think and that is a good thing. But I think what it meant was we never really saw how to deal with conflict when it did arise. And so that's something my sister and I have recognized kind of recently. And so that's something that we've been trying to kind of work through, is how to deal with conflict. Especially because, we didn't have a lot of conflict in our household. And so there wasn't a need to deal with it, which is a good thing. But obviously, you need those skills because they're going to come up. And so, for me, that's kind of a behavior that I've been trying to work on. In terms of the household that I grew up in.
Yeah. So I think, Trace, for me, I've been learning a lot about the measures that I take to protect myself, you know?
Yeah.
And also the measures that people have taken to protect me. And so a little while ago, I kind of asked one of my really good friends a question. I said, so what does good protection look like? Because I feel like I've had to not only protect myself, but I feel like, as a Lameki, I was a baby in the house, and I was like super protected by, nobody messed with me because I had my sisters who would kind of swoop in, my mom who would swoop in, and and actually, the realization that good protection isn't about stopping something from happening, and good protection isn't about removing either me or the other person from the situation. It's actually about getting equipped to deal with it, and part of that is
that conflict again.
Right? Learning to do good conflict. And I mean, one of the things that I'm also like working through at the moment is that, so as a result of that, as a result of all of these protective mechanisms, which I have a number of, is actually saying, okay, because I have such strong reactions, people are a little bit afraid of like taking me on, right?
Okay.
And so now I'm trying to think, okay, so first of all, am I that unapproachable? Because you don't think you are, right?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, everyone loves me.
And then taking on the, okay, so how do I how do I protect myself in a good way?
Yeah.
Because a wall isn't a
not
good way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's and I think my siblings have played a big role in that. From both sides, actually. Like the protection, and also, hang on a second,
I need to
it's the people that are closest. Yeah. The people who are closest to you are the ones that will hurt you the most. Whether the intention is never that.
No, of course. Yeah.
But it happens, right? And so it's actually consciously taking down the wall and cracking this open, because vulnerability is a big part of that.
Yeah.
And humility, saying, you know what, there's something I'm doing wrong and I need to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing at the moment, and shucks, it's hard.
It is, but I think it's worthwhile, and that's the thing. So we've run out of time. It has been lovely to hang out with you in the link this morning. We hope that there's been some food for thought, something for you to think about. Remember to join us at 9:00 when our service starts. Chris Sheesby will be leading that service, and then this evening at 6:00 Debbie Glover is going to be chatting to us about all this stuff. So tune into either one of those services. We'd love to see you there.
Awesome. See you later. Bye.